Swami, Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Vrinda ki jai, Samadeta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the Son of devotees, all glories to Sri Guru Sri Gauranga. Samagyantamirandasya, Samadaya Chaksuranga, Sri Chaitanya Manavastam, Napitam, Swayam Bhaktaram, Dadati Swaha Pradantikam. Vanchakalpatarudhascha kripasindhudevcha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Simadi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Adi Prasthya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Deva Guru Shri Adusha Om Tegana Sadasya Sukmadam Shishta Bhagavan Chari Sune Krishna Krishna So, we're managing today without translations. Can you understand English? Yes. You can understand English? Yes? Very good. So, everyone here understands English. I'm glad we can double the time with that. So, I have something I can suggest, but if anyone wants any specific topic, we can discuss.
In the morning class,
Yeah. spiritual entrepreneurship.
Teaching also.
Yeah.
Difference of teaching.
Yeah. I was thinking about this because this is the most relevant subject today. So, and we can read practically any verse from Bhagavad Gita. It speaks on this subject because spiritual professional, this is who Arjuna was, and this is what Krishna was encouraging him in. Arjuna was already professional, but he failed to realize how he can use his profession in the Lord's service. So this is the beginning of Krishna conscious development anyway. And I guess we'll read one of those verses which speaks about the importance of acting according to our nature. Chapter. Yeah, we can probably read 1847.
1847.
1847. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 I think we'll read some other verse. There are so many verses, interesting verses. Okay, yeah, we'll read 422. 422. Santusto, Vantvadito Vimatsara, Samasida Vasido Shaktipa, Inani Bhatyate. Yeah, let's repeat. Sanskrit. Santusto, Yadrichala, Santusto, Vantvadito Vimatsara. Vanvajito vimatsara Samasida vasidocha Samasida vasidocha Kripakilani bhatyate Kripakilani bhatyate Yadrichala vasantusto Vanvajito vimatsara Samasida vasidocha Kripakilani bhatyate. Translation performed by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Swami. Oh, Father Gaya. He who is satisfied with gain, which comes of its own accord, and who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, a Krishna conscious person does not make much in his body. He is satisfied with gains which are obtained of their own accord. He neither begs nor borrows, but he labors honestly as far as in his power, and he is satisfied with whatever is obtained by his own honest labor. He is therefore independent in his livelihood. He does not allow anyone's service to hamper his own service in Krishna consciousness. However, for the service of the Lord, he can participate in any kind of action without being disturbed by the duality of the material world. The duality of the material world is felt in terms of hidden gold or misery and happiness. A Krishna conscious person is above duality because he does not hesitate to act in any way for the satisfaction of Krishna. Therefore, he is steady both in success and in failure. These signs are visible when one is fully in transcendental knowledge. Yadrichalava santushta vanpatita vimatsarasamasithavasita chakripa inani padyate. He who is satisfied with gain which comes of its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions. Verse is explaining how transcendental person is independent of external circumstances and other people, and is ready to act in any way possible for Krishna's pleasure. So, if we depend on Krishna, we don't have to depend on anyone else, because Krishna is the only master, Ekaleshwara Krishna, Sagar, and everyone else is his servant. So if we depend on Krishna, we can become completely independent from anyone else. And this is only coming when one is fully dedicated oneself to Krishna conscious activities. Right? And as we were talking yesterday, the biggest obstacle is four-letter word, which is called work, right? That devotees have to spend most of the time working for somebody else who is not Krishna conscious and doing something which is very difficult to connect to Krishna for little money, which is hardly enough for anything. So it's like modern day slavery, right? And of course, this kind of slavery is not at all conducive to the principles of Krishna consciousness. And therefore, it's really important to do something about it. And I was mentioning yesterday, this morning, that Chandra Maharaj shared an article with me on spiritual entrepreneurship, which is which is very amazing article. It is coming from one Christian man, and It is very interesting article in many ways. It is a little long, so we will not be reading the whole thing, but I'll be just giving you synopsis from that article. Because first of all, we can see that we are not the only religious group or spiritual group who is struggling in terms of connecting to the public, right? And making any serious impact. And also, what has been described in this article, even though the author probably never heard of Srila Prabhupada in his life, but then he describes 12 signs of spiritual entrepreneur, which are amazingly exact description of Srila Prabhupada. Even though in his article he is describing Apostle Paul from Christian perspective. It was a very big change maker in Christian tradition. And so basically speaking, he says that the modern approach to the missionary aspect is pretty useless. That interest towards religion is dying very rapidly. And so churches are empty, etc., etc. And he explains that it's everybody knows that something is not right, but hardly anyone understands what to do. And then he says that that religion is connected to priestlyhood, priests, but priests are not actually changing anything. He gives very harsh analogy. He says that priests are only good to hold the hand of the dying church and console it while it dies. And even though they are very frustrated with that, they actually it's fine. They don't know what to do, so they have to continue with doing what they do because there is no other choice. They don't. And he says that in the history of the world, the radical change which makes people very interested in God didn't come from priests, right? Rather, we can see that people like Jesus Christ and other revolutionaries, we can say, right? Other reformers, they were not priests, right? But they were spiritual leaders. And it is very interesting that he says, that we are living in the, I've read this article so many times that certain things I know by heart now, right now. He says that we are living in the time when everyone is in love with startups, right? And entrepreneurship is the buzzword, right? And so in this marketplace, coming with religion, it's like, who are you guys anyway? Like, what are you doing here? better get lost, right? We're engaged in serious business, you know. So it's not effective at all. Therefore, he says that the effective approach is to become spiritual entrepreneur, to become relevant to the public, right? A spiritual message. And I was thinking this is very interesting because who was when in his youth, what he was doing? Business, yes. He was entrepreneur, professional entrepreneur. And then, actually, it's very interesting that he used his entrepreneurial skills in establishing ISKCON. It's, anyway, maybe we mentioned that point. Actually, today is a very special day, if anyone noticed. Today is the day when Srila Prabhupada boarded Jaladutashi to go with the departure, yes. So, and it's really funny that, you know, the is it number 13 is considered to be an unlucky number in Japan? Yes? Yes.
India is
Ah,
India is considered. India is not.
no, like in Japan? In Japan, is it good number or bad number? 13. Huh?
Something like that.
In Japan, it's not like that. It's just like any other day.
Any other thing. Okay. Anyway, in India, it's unlucky number, right? 13. In Russia, it's also unlucky number. So, day of the week is considered Friday, right? Famous Friday the 13th. And when Srila Prabhupada boarded Jaladuta? On Friday, the 13th of August. He didn't choose the good day. He started his journey on Friday the 13th. Could be the reason why he had 2 heart attacks on the way. But he didn't care, interestingly enough. Anyway, Srila Prabhupada was entrepreneur. And then talking about mixed nature, right? And how mixed nature is not so easy to kind of engage in Krishna conscious services, right? Because if you know exactly who are you, like if you're a Kshatriya, okay, I'll be fighting for Krishna, right? If you're a Brahman, okay, I'll be teaching for Krishna. But what if you are mixed? Everything. And Prabhupada had mixed nature. Born in a Vaishya family with very clear Brahminical qualities and some mix of Kshatriya spirit. Right? That's why he joined Gandhi's movement, and in many ways he manifested that Kshatriya kind of spirit. Right? So mixed nature. But then if you think about it, actually this mixed nature was unique, because if he would be a pure Brahmana, he would probably ring some bell in some temple until the end of his life and never attempted to do what he did, right? That's the mixture of his Kshatriya spirit prompted him to make such a bold step. Right? And did his Vaishya experience help him, you think? Yes? How?
Yes.
Yeah, to organize his conversation was incorporated, right? If you think about it, ISKCON is spiritual corporation, right? So Prabhupada used corporate principles, and so it's successful because of that. Translation? Need I, Prabhu? Translation is required? Or? Huh? That's fine. Okay. Hare Krishna. Hare. And so we can understand that the combination of different natures Prabhupada had actually helped him to become successful. And so this is why we have mixed nature, because we can contribute to our own unique way. But if you want to be successful, then it's really important to follow Prabhupada's footsteps. And there are 12 steps or 12 signs of spiritual entrepreneurship. And I think the first one is really, really important, and maybe we can focus on this one today because we don't have so much time. But I was thinking to just remember and try to apply this one, then definitely it's 90% success, guaranteed. And this sign is thinking big. It's exactly what he writes about it. He says, too many churches die of small thinking. And then he gives examples of small thinking. Mindsets. We don't have enough. It will not happen. Stop dreaming. That's plenty for now. Who will pay for it? But then leaders who serve an infinite God should never have their imaginations deadened by small things. Entrepreneurs think big. They dream what could be, not what is, and they see the opportunity in every obstacle. So was Srila Prabhupada like this? Okay. Anyone wants to give any examples of Srila Prabhupada thinking big and not worrying about the present problems but future opportunities? Yes.
Prabhupada used to say to distribute prasad in spite of financial.
Okay.
Temple.
Jewish temple, yes. Fighting, actually interesting. Just today I listened to the class. He said, we have so many temples all over the world, why do they need this little place in Judaism? But if Krishna sends that, then this must be Krishna's plan.
The way he imagined from the open ground, the big temple will come out.
Yes.
There also the temple of Vedic planetarium is coming.
Very good, yes. Any other examples?
In the beginning, when they gave $5,000, they created the property. It was New York Temple.
Okay, how New York temple started. So many examples. Thinking big. Actually, according to Achyutananda, one of the first disciples of Swami, he said, Prabhupada would say, this is my only problem. I could never think small. I was always thinking big, right? Just in New York, 26 Second Avenue, when Prabhupada registered the society, he called it International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And after the registration was done, and then the name was announced, now we have the new society. It's called International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and everyone in the room was laughing. Because they were thinking, what international society? Where is the international society? We're just in the lower east side of New York, that's all. There was no other temple or center, even anywhere in America, what to speak of. So everyone was laughing. But Srila Prabhupada was serious, right? So all of them in the room, they were thinking like this, right? Prabhupada was thinking all that. So yes, if you meditate on, if you dream of something big, you can do big. At least you have an opportunity for that. Of course, you need another points in, but this is the beginning of the beginnings. It says that if you have that, does it say that? Try to shoot the biggest, try to hit the biggest target, because then your chances to miss are almost nil, right? The bigger target you have, the lesser your chances to miss. So if you want to make, it's better to be failed multi-billionaire than successful beggar on the street corner. Or it's better to be a successful materialist. So always think big, always try for maximum results. So I think tonight I'll leave you with that thought, and maybe we can continue with other signs of spiritual intervention tomorrow. So any questions on the subject of thinking big? Any doubts? And of course, it will be wrong not to mention the first purpose of ISKCON again. Right? This is the most amazing example of Prabhupada's thinking big. Right? To systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large and educate all people in the techniques of spiritual life in order to check the imbalances of values in life and achieve real unity and peace in the world. It's like almost impossible, I think, right? In Kali Yuga, unity and peace seems to be something crazy. Yes. Question?
I've heard from Vaishnava that what is unique on the law that appears as Sri Chaitanya is that we can, like, everyone, whatever, however their mood, not mood, but like, however their worship, however they like to worship the Lord, I mean, for the form, like the like devotees of Sri Ramachandra or Lord of Sri Krishna, they were all together. Even though they worshipped the Lord in different forms, they were all together. And so it is unique, and so my question is, I mean, I know a bit the answer, but I want to be sure in a way, like, so is to worship, is to serve the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, right? Like, I mean, like to desire to take part of the Harinam Sankirtan movement.
Right. So, anything? Any questions, thoughts? Okay.
What's the qualification?
Little louder, please. The time is.
What's the qualification? Think big as
What is the qualification to think big? No qualification, just desire. Of course, in order to be spiritual entrepreneur, first we have to have entrepreneurial qualification. Means you have to be professional in whatever you do. Then you can use that in Krishna service.
Is strong as the organization is a non-voluntary, it's a voluntary non-profit organization. So, considering or managing the organization or a temple in terms of business is a big challenge. Like, for example, we have to work for the funds, we have to plan things, and all this has to be done voluntarily.
Mm.
So it's okay as long as some people who are involved in this think in that way. But when you think of including more people, society at large, it becomes a real challenge.
Yeah. Well, it is like that, that in order to do big things, we need sufficient funding, right?
Yes.
At the same time, there is plenty of money available. One source, biggest source, is tax money, government funding, right? Which they have to use for public needs. Most of it they have to use for public needs, right? To help people with whatever they need to be helped. This is one. Plus, there are many private foundations, and so it's like billions and trillions of yenas available for these purposes. So the money is there, plenty of money is there. But we're not connected to that money. We're scraping for whatever on the bottom level, right? Why? Because we're not thinking, and we're not thinking of the world. And we have this very narrow religious kind of understanding. Okay, we are one religion competing against so many other religions for whatever, to gain some following and to collect some donations from some poor people. Beggars trying to collect some donations from other beggars. or slaves trying to engage other slaves, something like that. So it is very ridiculous scenario, and that's why it's not working. Because Prabhupada was making it very, very clear that unless and until Krishna consciousness movement will not gain government support, not going to develop very effectively. There will be a struggle. But government, like who was showing me the latest letter of Narendra Modi? It's very clear that how the government, how any government man is thinking. That unless it is benefiting the public, unless you are benefiting the public, you are useless, right? And do we benefit people? Is Krishna consciousness beneficial or not?
Yes.
It is beneficial. But have they made it very clear how it is beneficial? Do we have the proof of the concept? Do we work with these people? Are we part of their programs? Yes or no? No. So, do we see why it's not working? Because there is plenty of money, but we're disconnected from that fact. So that's why we struggle. No money, you can do nothing. You should just continue to struggle, that's all.
Maybe Maharaj, we should try to, we should try to make connections with the government.
Why not? Because, like, when Adoptamapu was teaching the communication course, he made very interesting statement, very funny statement. He said, in Prabhupada's footsteps, right? Was Prabhupada chanting Hare Krishna? Yes. Are we chanting Hare Krishna? Yes. Was Prabhupada worshipping deities? Yes. Are we worshipping deities? Yes. Was Prabhupada studying and preaching scripture? Yes. Do we do the same? Yes. Was Prabhupada on very regular basis meeting with influential people and giving a lot of time to communications? Yes. Are we doing that? Scratch your head. Something's missing in the picture. Simple. There was a very serious reason why Prabhupada gave so much attention to that. Why he was coming to every new temple and saying, you know, where are the influential people? I want to meet them. And he was actually chastising his disciples if they would never, bring influential people to meet.
When we talk about this communication, establishing connections, this is a type of planning. We plan, we execute in the
Yeah.
There is also one view in the devotees. I have heard from the seniors also. Krishna thought like ISKCON is the topmost in spiritual whatever we can. We are worshipping Krishna. So we are not we don't worry about money, people, anything.
Of
We
course.
just chat, we just receive trust, everything will come.
Yeah.
Krishna will take care. We
Yeah.
don't have to worry.
Of course, we don't have to worry about money and people. That's why we don't have neither money nor people for so many years. Because we're not worried about it. So.
That's what I'm saying. This type of thinking was there in 80s. Now these 50 years, there is a lot of change.
Yes.
If you don't plan, you are out of sync. This way of thinking has to change.
I mean, we don't have to take anyone else's way of thinking. We have to take Bhagavad Gita way of thinking. Bhagavad Gita makes it very clear that we have to be goal-oriented if we want to achieve anything. Famous historical verse. Rasayan that those who are on this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. Of the child of the Kurus, the mind of those who are irresolute is many branched. Going highway. So Prabhupada was very, very clear. Man without the goal is like ship without rudder. Right? In one class he said, this is the law of karma. You become like a football, you know. Whoever is kicking you, so this determines the direction you are flying in. So you either have your own goals, or you become like ship without a rudder, or like a football. Other football with you. That's all.
Is there thinking big and dreaming of something?
What's the difference?
Yeah, which is in line.
Yes, but then this is the major difference between dreams and plans. Dreams have no and a deadline, right? But basically, plan is the dream with the beginning date and end date attached to it. That's all. Because dream you something never do, right? If you plan, you actually do something. And the question when becomes really important. And this is what is the prominent feature of entrepreneurship, right? That if you are in business circles, then if you cannot answer the question when, people will not even talk to you. They'll think, oh, you're just wasting your time and wasting our time also. If you don't have a clear answer to the question when. Yes, planning. Time management. All right. So shall we stop here? Okay. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srimad Prabhupada ki jai. Gita Guru Premanande. Samaveta Bhakta ki jai.
Tomorrow we do.
Slow but sure. Sort it out. Tomorrow will continue.